heart so open wide, saw the world through pain's disguise, built her soul with every stride, healing hands and guiding eyes. Miracles in every touch, hardships taught her strength is such. Through the noise she hears a hush, psychic gifts she has shush. On the path of a healer, she's a giver and a feeler. Each wound she takes reveal her. For your pain she is a stealer. Experience trauma deep inside, yet she rises like the tide. Keeps her faith right by her side, knows it's love that won't divide. Healing hearts with every glance, her soul dances in a trance.
Hello, and welcome to my channel, The Path of a Healer. This is going to be my introduction to why you might want to listen to this channel and why you might want to follow. I've been a nurse for over 30 years, and I've been in the hospital multiple times with different illnesses, and I also am on a spiritual path. So my journey began, I got married in 1982 when I was 17 years old. And while I was married to him, I had a gallbladder attack and ended up in the emergency room for about 12 hours. And then I had a disease called endometriosis, which led me to having 2 surgeries. And I was bit by a brown recluse spider, which put me in the hospital for about 4 days. And so I had a little bit of experience with what it was like to be in the hospital. And then my marriage didn't work out, and I ended up leaving him and went into a career in the entertainment business, and that'll be a whole story all in itself. And then I met my second husband, and we had a baby girl. And while I was pregnant, I went to a nurse practitioner, and I felt like I got better care than I'd ever gotten from any doctor. And I wanted to be like her. My husband did not support my choice to leave the entertainment industry and go into nursing. And we ultimately ended up separating for other reasons. And I went to nursing school beginning in 1989. I got my prerequisites done in a year. I had a 4.0 at that time, and I got right into the nursing program at Clackamas Community College. I had my CNA by January 1990. And then I had my LPN by November of 1991. And I began working as a licensed practical nurse. During that year between becoming an LPN and becoming an RN, I became the president of the National Student Nurses Association chapter at Clackamas Community College. And we raised enough money to have 4 of us go to the National Nurses Convention in San Antonio, Texas. And we had a blast. And then I did graduate from nursing school in 1992 with a GPA of 3.32 and about 162 credits because I knew I wanted to go on and get a higher degree than that. I had my aunt who worked as a medical assistant her whole career, pin me at the nursing ceremony. I went on to work in long-term care for about 7.5 years with an associate degree in nursing. About 6 months into being a registered nurse, I met my third husband, who worked as a certified nursing assistant. And we ended up having 2 children together. And I only actually married him because he needed a back surgery that wasn't going to be covered unless he had insurance. And about a year later, he went back to working as a CNA, which totally messed up his back. And ultimately, we ended up separating. I tell you the stories about the marriages because I have different names on my certificates. So it to correlate why there are so many different names. So I was working at Kaiser Sunnyside Hospital when my third husband and I separated in 2001, and he ultimately moved back to New Mexico. And then I went a Wiccan path because I had some gifts and I didn't understand them. I thought that if I joined the pagan community, I could learn about these gifts. Um, but the best thing that happened out of that was that I was recommended to read a book called The Celestine Prophecies, and it changed my life. And I stopped being a victim and I stopped being sick all the time. And I actually learned how to heal and how to look at things from a different perspective. That, again, it changed my life. And in 2003, I met my fourth husband. And right before I met him is when I became a Reiki Master. And then I went on and I took forms of Reiki that I have master attunement in. And then one day I was working at Kaiser and my boss walked up and handed me a brochure for Healing Touch. Healing Touch was designed by nurses and it's certified through the Holistic Nurses Association. And she told me that Kaiser would pay me to go and take their courses and that I could practice them actually on the patient, whereas I could not practice Reiki on the patients because they did not have enough research behind it, and Healing Touch did. And once I started doing Healing Touch, everything escalated pretty quickly. I went on to get my 5 levels of Healing Touch completed, and I wanted to go on and teach Healing Touch, but in order to do that, you had to have at least a bachelor's degree in nursing, and you had to be, of course, a nurse. Well, I met that requirement, but I decided to go back to school. And instead of just getting my bachelor's, I ended up ultimately getting my master's. But I got a little disillusioned along the way in my Healing Touch journey as far as going on and teaching it, because when the um, person who designed Healing Touch, Janet Metkin, passed away, there was controversy as to who was going to carry the Healing Touch program on, her daughter or another group. And ultimately they split in two. And then some of the regulations changed. And I already had a license to touch people with being a nurse. So I decided not to get certified and not to continue at that point down the Healing Touch path. I still primarily do Healing Touch, but I also can do Reiki. And I also have some psychic gifts that are getting stronger along the way. And now I have gone on and I've gotten my bachelor's of nursing and my master's of nursing science in education. After that, I started taking alchemy classes from Robert Bartlett, and I have taken prima, secunda, and tertia at least twice, and I've been up there and I've helped with several classes as well and apprentice with him currently. I'm also on a spiritual path, and I've been able to retrieve people's souls after they've had a near-death experience and lost all their memory. They got all their memory back. I've been able to remove attachments from people and help reduce pain and rebalance the energy system. in that spiritual journey, I have a blog and I have a webpage, thepathofahealer.com, where I write about spiritual things. I'm currently working on adding more to the webpage, both on energy medicine and also on my own path of healing. I've experienced a lot of trauma in my life, beginning before my birth. My mother was in an accident and went over the cliff up at Oregon Health Sciences University while I was in vitro. I came out in the uterus. The next year I had scarlet fever. The next year my sister pushed me on some stairs and I broke my collarbone. The next year I grabbed onto an electric fence and couldn't let go, and my grandfather had to go get rubber gloves to pull me off of it. The next year I was bit clear through both my legs by a Doberman Pinscher and was nearly crippled. The next year I was nearly shot, and it had a male voice not told me to leave, I would have been killed, and I would have seen my mother's partner unalive herself. When I was 7, I almost drowned, and it goes on and on and on. I have been abducted twice. One of those abductions resulted in an assault. You can read about that if you're interested on my webpage. Yeah, I've had guns held to my head. I shouldn't be here, but I am. And the reason I am is to help other people. And that's why you should follow me. And maybe some of what I've been through can help you along the way. So I look forward to interacting with you in the future. And thank you for listening to this part of my story. And if you have questions, you can email me through my webpage, thepathofahealer.com. And please like, please share, please comment. Thank you, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Born with a heart so open wide, saw the world through pain's disguise, built her soul with every stride, healing hands and guiding eyes. Miracles in every touch, hardships taught her strength is such. Through the noise she hears a hush, psychic gifts she has shushed. On the path of a healer, she's a giver and a feeler. Each wound she takes reveal her. For your pain she is a stealer. Experience trauma deep inside, yet she rises like the tide. Keeps her faith right by her side, knows it's love that won't divide. Healing hearts with every glance, her soul dances in a trance. Here to help the world have a chance, her heart desires to enhance. She's here to help and to inspire, in her touch a secret fire. Through her eyes you see the higher. She's the dreamer we all admire. On the path of a healer, she's a giver and a feeler. Each one she takes reveal her. For your pain she is a stealer. On the path of a healer, she's a giver and a feeler. Each wound she takes reveal her. For your pain she is a stealer. On the path of a healer, she's a giver and a feeler. Each wound she takes reveal her. For your pain she is a stealer. Healing hearts with every glance, her soul dances in a trance. Here to help the world have a chance,